I bet on myself. Yeah, I bet on myself.
Yeah, I bet on myself. Yeah, I bet on myself. I don't need you, I do it myself. Yeah, I bet on myself.
Yeah, I bet on myself.
Yeah, I bet on myself. Okay, dream so big that they think I'm crazy. Let out the beast, no, they can't tame me. Don't play with me, better mind your business. I cannot stop now, I ain't finished. I'ma keep on going till I got that. Okay, the way that I'ma do it, they can top that. No way, critics trying to hate, but I don't talk back, I know that. Plotting on the kid with the bull, tell them all that. I'm the one that I'ma gamble on, I ramble on. I'm about to get my ramble on, and I'm the one they really couldn't get a handle on.
Oh, what is going on, everybody? I tell you what, Francis, bro, there's UFC fights tonight, and I don't know how somebody doesn't come out to that shit, because I break a motherfucker's head open listening to that shit.
Listen, one of these days.
Why am I so violent? What?
One of these days, Alice.
One of these days, I tell you what.
One of these days, Alice, we're going to see a UFC fighter come out to the designated Spittaz intro. And me and Pete, we're going to be on either side of the fighter. We're walking out with him.
100%.
Yeah.
I might
And
jump in the
Jira's
fucking
she's
cage
gonna
and
be
just get
around.
knocked. And I might jump in the cage and just get KO'd for the hell of it. Just be like, head kick me, damn it. Drop me.
Somebody's going to have to tell Pete that he's not fighting that night.
Yeah,
I think, if, like I said,
Pete, look,
Jira's going to
Pete.
be there. She doesn't let us go anywhere on our own devices. I think she'll
Facts.
save Pete. But if she doesn't get it,
yeah.
if she doesn't get in front of him quick enough,
I'm gonna have to, bro. I might just have to jump in there, take the KO, and just be like, I wanted this. I wanted this. I wanted this.
He said,
I wanted this.
damn
I wasn't challenging a professional fighter. I promise you. I just wanted to be. I just wanted the knockout. I've been through much hurt watching the Yankees in my life. All right, and they're back. The hurt is back, Francis. I can't deal with it. I can't anymore.
Thought for a second yesterday, man. Thought for a second yesterday that these days were behind us, at least for a little while. And boy, was I wrong. I tell you.
You know what it means. Hold on a second. Do I still have it? Oh, here it is. This is the problem with for us.
Those were the days.
Oh,
You know,
man,
we're
I
just
hope
stuck
not.
in the days. We're stuck in the days, man. And
Yeah, it's wild too because like you see the way the Yankees are currently playing, the way that we look,
Yeah.
and then you look around. And it's like I feel almost as if like the Mets stole our vibes. Like I'm looking at that team and I'm like, who the fuck are they? Like, who are they? Like that.
Look,
That's
I don't
not
have
the team that started the season.
Let me tell you something. I don't have the purple tint for Grimace, okay? This is not
Exactly.
NYM Underground, okay? It's not that, baby, you know?
Listen,
We
you know,
got a lot of
things
Mets
really,
fans still talking shit. They don't stop, though. They
I was
really
gonna
don't
say,
stop.
I was gonna say, shouts out to them. They, the team is, doing, decently and good for them, because they had a really rough start to the year. So they, at least a couple of weeks of good baseball is warranted to say the least.
Yeah.
But definitely no shout out to the fans who are still talking about the Yankees. Like even how long
Bro,
it's
they're
been?
on the-
It was 3 days since we last played. It was Wednesday, the
Something
last
like
game.
that, yeah. They're on the
And I'm
IG
just-
comments. They're
yeah.
everywhere. They don't stop.
I saw
They're like
somebody
roaches.
comment.
They're like roaches in New York. They're no different.
I saw a dude, a Mets fan, comment under Stroman's post yesterday. I think I responded to Stroman's post, and then he responded to me today. And I was just like, I mean, come on, brother. Like, I was like, this is typical. It's typical. Like, your team is
Bro.
playing decent baseball, and yet all you can think about is
Let
the
me tell
Yankees.
you something.
It's
you know
crazy.
the saddest thing about it is, right?
Hmm.
So do you know how we always say, like, I hate when, we're talking about the Yankees and Yankee fans are like, the record,
Oh,
but it's the
Yeah.
record. I
Yeah.
fucking did that the other day. I did it the other day because I commented, when Soto hit Francisco Alvarez in the head with the bat, playing with him.
yeah.
Like, obviously they talk, they're friends, they're cools, whatever.
yeah.
He's joking around.
Yeah.
The Mets, they put some dude put something under, be like, yeah, hey, never do that to me. And I wrote back, I said, Juan Soto would do what the fuck he wants.
Exactly.
Just like that. And a dude commented and said, scoreboard, bro. I said, record, bro. Record. Because guess what? I know you won the battle. That's all
Yeah.
good. You guys beat the shit out of us.
Yeah.
But you ain't gonna come with that shit acting like you're the best team in ball now. I don't know. I don't want to hear it. We're struggling now. We switch roles for
Yeah.
a minute. It's gonna the earth will balance itself out again. I
Yes.
promise.
Yes, and you know
I
what?
promise.
I'm gonna take a quote from a man that somebody I'm inspired. I've been inspired by at different times throughout my life. Coach Prime. He's a coach now.
Pablo Escobar.
He's a coach now.
I
Coach
killed
Prime.
the motherfucker.
We went from Coach Prime to Pablo. Listen, you already know, man. DS, baby. This is how it is. Coach Prime said, I think it was last season, at the middle of the year, whatever. He said, look, you better get us now. Talking about the Colorado Buffalo. He said, you better get us now, because this is going to be the worst version of us that you see. I'm gonna say the same thing right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Let the Mets fans, let the Astros fans who all of a sudden got circled back, let the Red Sox fans, Toronto Jays fans, everybody, let the Rays, all of them, let them circle now. They better
That's
get
fine.
us now. They better get us now. Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be the worst version of this team that they're going to see.
Oh, easy.
Okay.
Easy. And we're gonna discuss a lot about the team today, guys. So fasten your seatbelt, sit back, relax, take a listen, and of course, chime in with your comments, of course, in the chat. Let's have a good time tonight. Let's start right there. Let's start with the main thing, of course, that is being the right hand now of Juan Soto. The word right now is he will likely be out tomorrow, which would also give him Monday off, which if you want to make a case for it, you could say that's probably best case scenario, because he doesn't miss an additional game. He'll miss tomorrow, and then he'll be done on Monday. It's funny because if you guys were in Game Season Live, I told you guys likely what happened, and it comes to find out that's exactly what happened. So I was saying the reason he was probably in the lineup is they let him run through his post-game stuff, figure things out, probably take some indoor batting practice. And apparently he told Aaron Boone, it's exactly what I told him, that the bottom palm area was swollen, so he couldn't grip the bat too well to go ahead and do his regular swings. He didn't feel comfortable, he said. So the Yankees just said, hey, take the day off. Let's make sure there's nothing broken in there.
Yeah.
And there wasn't. So this is probably best case scenario, nothing too bad. And, we'll get him back on Tuesday, it looks like.
And this is one of those things where, look, fans aren't going to want to hear it, right, bro?
Yeah.
Because it's like another injury. Soto's missing more time. I get it. So people aren't going to want to hear what I'm about to say. But if we gotta call a spade here, the Yankees have dodged a lot of bullets this year.
They have.
With the way the injuries have happened. Like, look, in years
Judge.
past, Judge would have been cooked.
With
In
that hit
years
by
past,
pitch, it would have
yeah.
been broken in half.
In years past, Soto would have been cooked. This is two times now that Soto has gotten injuries, and it seems like he'll be back in a couple days. Two times, and we're halfway through the season. Like, even with Schmidt, like, there's a possibility, a strong possibility. Schmidt already started playing catch the other day.
Correct.
There's a strong possibility that we see Schmidt back in this rotation at some point this year.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. Normally, we lose a guy to an injury like that. We don't see him until next season. That's it. Goodbye. Like, we're not going to see him. Garrett Cole, that was the first one in spring training. And what did we fear from the start?
He was out. He's going to be out for the year.
It's Tommy John. We're not going to see him. We're not going to see him. We lost him. Whatever. Garrett Cole's already back, and he's pitching with the team already. Somehow, some way, the Yankees they just keep dodging the kill shot with the injuries. And I get it. These guys are losing time, and we're losing a lot of games recently, and it hasn't looked pretty, but I don't know, bro. Like, when I really take a step back and see everything in full focus, it's like, but this team really still does have a chance, because they just haven't had that kill shot.
Yeah, bro, and I've been talking about this. I've been talking about this almost every day now during game seasons, because when it gets bad, it gets ugly, and Yankee fans are very, very reactionary, and that's why sometimes Yankee fans could piss you off, and why you love Yankee fans in general too, is because as Yankee fans in general, we are very reactionary, and when the Yankees go bad, it's demolition day. You know what I mean? It's a mess. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of reasons to be concerned right now. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of reasons to be concerned. Chris Silva with the Super Chat says, Francis Saturday's in full effect. What up, guys? Appreciate you, my guy. I want to get the Joseph Delgado here, too, which is pretty funny because somebody else texted me this earlier. Soto never misses games. Once he becomes a Yankee, he starts to miss games with little minor injuries. But hopefully it's nothing crazy like that. But Yankee fans have great passion. That is exactly right, Macho King, and that's why. But let's talk about a couple of things here that we definitely have to go over, because I'll start with this. Me and you, Francis, are in the same boat when it comes to we're not panicking right now. We still feel this team has a core that they can build upon and win as long as they get certain guys back and do the right things. So today I want to talk about some of those right things. The first one I want to talk about is the catching situation for the Yankees, which I think just about, maybe not every Yankee fan, but I do know on the nights at the round table, just about all of us, if not all of us, we were extremely high on Austin Wells.
Yep.
We all thought he'd have a very solid offensive season. And I even think we said he's probably going to play the majority of the time. And
We did.
all of us, I think, had him playing more than Trevino.
Yep.
And when it is a young player, that is typically what the majority of organizations would do. They would play the one of the future more than the veteran. It's not like ages ago or years. It's not like even when Posada and Girardi were the guys, and Girardi got a little bit more playing time, he started to bring in Posada slowly. Nowadays, it's about the young prospect. Nowadays, in many teams, it's about the youth of the club, who is the future of the club. Austin Wells, as everything we know before the season began, was the future catcher of the New York Yankees, based on everything that we knew. Austin Wells today doubles and he homers today. There's probably a chance he doesn't play tomorrow.
Yeah, strong
But
chance.
if the Yankees make one of the changes that they have to make that doesn't require a trade outside the organization, bro, Austin Wells needs to get more playing time. They got to give this kid more consistent at-bats.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it. At the round table, I think we were close to like a 65-35 split of time between Wells and Trevino, and we thought that Wells was going to be the ones getting the lion's share.
Yeah.
Here we are, the end of June, and it's been flipped. It's been the opposite way. Like Trevino's the guy most of the week, and then we get Austin Wells when we get him, and it's like the organization has pretty much told us you're going to get Austin Wells when we tell you you're going to get him, and you're going to like it. And it's like, oh, okay, like I guess, but again, how do you see this guy, play and not think that he's the best option for the team right now? Defense was the biggest thing coming into the year. Defense was the biggest thing where you would say, okay, I see why the Yankees are going to go with Trevino. He's the platinum glove catcher, and Wells is still, he's a little raw there, needs to prove himself a little more. That's no longer the case. It's just no longer the case, and we've seen it. It's played out. It's played out in front of our eyes. Trevino has, some arm issues. He's not saying it's an injury. The Yankees aren't saying it's an injury. But those of us who are watching the game with our two eyes, we see something's wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Wells is throwing better right now, and when it comes to framing, they're pretty much the same. So then what are we lacking? Well, some people were making the argument a couple weeks ago, Trevino's bat has been hot, so we got to ride that. Well, guess what? That's gone cold a little bit too. So I mean,
big time. He doubled
yesterday. He doubled yesterday, but still, it's not. And again, even with that, even when he was quote unquote hot, like the hottest that he can be offensively, I don't think that potential is higher than Austin Wells. So I'm 100% with you. I think one of the best changes that we can make in-house, and it could be a quick boost to the lineup, is just move towards Austin Wells and start moving a little bit away from Trevino.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt about it. And I got some evidence to back up basically what you're saying right there. So I want to take a brief a little look at that. I'm just waiting on one more page to load up, guys. Be patient with us here. No, that's not what I was looking for.
He's got the evidence, guys.
They pulled up the wrong thing. That's what it is. Fucking Ice-T popped up on my page. Rapper. Fuck's Ice-T doing over here?
And it's funny that you referred to him as Ice-T the rapper. Somebody the other day said Ice-T. Ice-T the actor? I was like, what?
Oh, no. No, he's always the rapper for me.
I was like, he's never going to be the actor. I'm like, he's the rapper first, right?
He's never going to be the actor for me. He's the rapper. I'm sorry.
That's half the reason this is called Designated Spittaz, guys. If you guys are new 100%. To this, I gotta tell you.
If you're new, okay? You're new. But looking at, so over the last 7 games, Trevino's hitting .091.
Ooh.
200 on base percentage, 136. Wow. But his last 30, he's hitting 209.
Oh,
so
wow.
Again,
209.
He only 209 over his last 30 games.
Yeah.
That's 86 at bats. He's not doing well whatsoever. In Austin Wells' last 7 games, he's hitting 250. But the problem again is the dude got 12 at bats. So Austin Wells again is just not getting enough at bats to be a regular. or to just really get his shit going together. And then if you pull up the Savant side here, Francis talked about this already. He said, well, look at the framing. Trevino's one of the best in the planet in framing. He also blocks the ball well. But if you see everything else, he doesn't throw runners out, and his pop time is one of the worst in baseball. Then you go to Wells. What do you rather have? The guy frames very well, not the greatest blocker. He throws runners out a little better, and his pop time is way better than Trevino's. You really it's not even about picking a poison. It's about picking the upside, in my opinion. You got to really go here and pick the upside, and the upside is Austin Wells, especially in a time where, I wonder if you recognize this too. I was going to put it in our chat, but I never did. It's kind of funny how things work, right? Because you remember on All Rise, we did Francis Fridays?
Yes, sir.
One of the things I said about the Yankees, about improving them, I said, the way that you avoid Soto and Judge being pitched around is that the bottom of the order does better. So when it gets to them, they already have men on base.
Yeah, ducks on the
That's
pond,
what you
exactly.
got to improve. That's why Rehab and guys like that make sense.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened that day. Soto came up with first and second, hits a 3-run homer. They had men on base because the bottom of the order finally hit. That's what
Exactly.
you need to keep seeing. So for me, that's one of the key reasons why you got to make that move, because you got to go with who you believe is the better bat in the long term and give him the opportunity. And I believe that better bat is Austin Wells. That's one of the big fixes I think the Yankees have to make, and they got to try it. And if they feel it's a sacrifice, then it's a sacrifice. You got to go for it.
I agree with you, and I'm glad you brought up that point, because it played to your point what you were saying about, everybody's a little bit worried about the guys batting behind Judge and Soto.
Yeah,
but
the protection.
You said, what about the guys in front of him? If the bottom of the lineup
that's
isn't
exactly
doing
it.
anything, it's not helping either. And then later on, I was speaking about, my belief, my sustained belief in Anthony Volpe and the plus that he can be on this team. Well, what did you see yesterday? When there was somebody on for him, he didn't try to do too much. He put the ball on the ground and used his speed to have 2 runners on base for Soto. Like, this is the kind of talent that we have on this team right now.
I had to brag. I was bragging about that during the game. I was like, look at the shit that we do, and this stuff is actually happening right in front of us. So
it's crazy.
We react.
We spoke
you know what I
about a
mean? We
spark.
react sometimes and all that. And we talked about a spark. We talked
And
about
that's what
all
happened.
that. And
Yeah.
a lot of, like I said, you're not going to find. Here's the problem when people go, well, you need to protect Soto and Judge and Soto. Who is a Judge and Soto? Who out there is Judge and Soto?
Come on.
You're not finding somebody that a team's going to go, I'd rather face Judge and Soto than that dude. Or I got to be careful here because, they might be, that dude's going to come up. There ain't nobody like that. It's always going to be a drop-off in talent.
And for
Always
those-
going to be a drop-off.
For those who are like thinking immediately names like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., whatever, yes, he's looked phenomenal in this series. Power to him, because it's boosting his trade value for sure.
Yeah.
But don't let that fool you. Like, the rest of his season has been relatively right?
Mediocre at best.
He's having a nice series against us, and he has been hot kind of leading up unto this series, but he started off slow again. He still doesn't seem to be in the best possible shape that he can be in. Yeah. And we don't know if he's going to sustain this version of Vladdy Jr. So, don't go by just this series and say, well, Vladdy could be that guy. No, we don't know that. And you would have to trade a shit ton to get somebody like that.
A ton. And we'll talk about some of that. But, keeping this stuff in-house, and Hirsch brought this up during Game Season Live, and he's so correct. Because I was talking about how the Yankees really they're one of the late bloomers to utilizing the system. And I don't care what they talk about, their analytics department, and, they got a process in place. And yes, they kind of revamped the entire minor league system in 2019. But teams like the Atlanta Braves, they're not picking up scrap heaps. They're going to say, hey, call that kid up from AAA or call that kid up from AA and let's utilize him. The Yankees are still in the mindset. And look, I get every now and then it's a body, maybe for a week, and then you let that body go. You kind of bring somebody in if somebody else isn't fully ready yet. I understand all that. But the New York Yankees really got to move past this idea of right now our bullpen's a bit of a mess, so we're picking up Bigfords and not Bigfoot, Bickford or whatever the hell his name is.
Phil Bickford, yeah.
So Phil Bickford and this guy and that guy, all these scrap heap players that get DFA'd by other clubs. Tim over the hill. To go ahead and structure the roster when other teams out there that are winning are saying, No. Don't pick the scrap heap up, but just give the kid a chance down here. He looks like he's major league ready. Let's get him into regular situations. There's not a guarantee that this stuff always works. I understand that.
Yeah.
But again, if you're a winning club, aren't you more interested in upside? Don't you got to be a little more interested in upside, especially if they're 40-man roster guys that are gonna have to be on there, and you got cats like Bickford and these other guys that are protecting spots for what? What exactly?
Yeah, it does kind of confuse you when you think about it, because I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. The Yankees spend as much money as anybody, if not more than most, on scouting, pro scouting. Pitchers, pitching development. Like a couple years ago, there was this whole like hoopla made of the gas station over there down in Florida, whatever. Like the Yankees invest a ton of money into their prospects, into their scouting, into their farm in general. A lot of money in DR, right? Our facilities, they're up there with anyone out there. Like you can ask anybody who's from
the Yankees,
the country.
I think the Yankees, Toronto, and Milwaukee have like some of the best ones.
Some of the best ones out there. And Los is our guy. He this is a guy who knows his stuff. He'll tell you. So it kind of seems like the Yankees talk out of both sides of their mouth in that regard, because you invest so much money in that, but then when the time comes, right, to like kind of reap some of that fruit, they always seem hesitant. Even now, right, with Ben Rice. Like,
that's what I'm thought. Not right now, even more so. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like now with Ben Rice, they call him up, right, and it's like we have to clamor for this guy to get the playing time, but every single time he's gotten the time, this kid just doesn't stop hitting. He does not stop hitting. Shouts out to Dane, bro. It's like it's been exactly what Dane said from the beginning with this kid, Ben Rice. I don't know how. Dane is a super humble dude, because if I was Dane, I'd be taking the only victory lap all over Twitter, all over everything right now, because Dane said exactly this. He said that Ben Rice would be exactly that. He said the kid he just doesn't stop hitting. He's going to come up and he's going to hit. That hit tool is going to translate. And so far, he's been 1,000% spot on. This kid doesn't stop. He was batting in Soto's spot today. Yeah. And look, granted, he did. We can't say he was exactly Soto there, but it wasn't much of a.
He produced single and a double. Might have lost Francis. You there?
The guy.
There he is. No, I'm just saying, he got a single, a double. He went out there and did his thing today. And at the end of the day, with a guy like Ben Rice, what do the Yankees also do in that regard, right? They went ahead at one point. They go, well, he has the platoon with JD Davis. That's what we're going to do. And they actually announce it. It's friggin' weird they announce this stuff. Like they come out as like, oh, that's the platoon partner with him. It's like, why would you necessarily do that when you're trying to, younger your team, but at the end of the day, just make your club a better team overall? So it's very strange they continue to do this. Same thing with the bullpen. You got guys like Jack Neely down there who are now in AAA doing their thing. I get Augustine Ramirez. You want to give the kid time to keep developing. Just hit his first homer in AAA, but he got all the tools to be really, really good. And for me, look, man, when I was talking to a lot of people beforehand, they saying call him up to catch. I'm sitting there going, hold on a second, like that to me might be a bit much right now. I would definitely let him keep doing his thing, but when the DH spot opened up, I'm sitting there going, well, the one thing you have a good idea that he could do is hit the baseball. He's on the 40-man roster, so it's not really anything crazy. I'm like, it does make your lineup a little better. Does that guarantee you that he's going to come up and hit the ball? No. But at the end of the day, it's putting yourself in a better... Who would you rather see up? Seriously. JD Davis or one of your prospects that you guys are developing that's actually in AAA?
This is what I feel like we talk about it all the time, right? And shouts out to Kev. I think Kev is one of the main proponents who always brings this up. It's like the Yankees love to go and sign this like past their prime or older veteran guy instead of just giving one of their kids a shot. Just like and again, I get it, right? Because there's a whole side of the fan base that completely disagrees with going with the kids, because that's a side of the fan base that is kind of stuck in their ways, and they're very used to the old Yankees who traded the prospects away and never let them really see the lights of day, and then went and brought over an aging all-star and stuff like that.
Yep.
But the game has evolved, man. The game is so different in 2024. You need youth. You just do. You need athleticism. You need durability. You need speed. You need defense. You need on-base percentage. That's a lot of what these kids in the farm, this is what they're working on every single day. This is the game that they play.
One of the things that Kev talks about a lot too that makes a lot of sense is these guys are facing elite pitching
every day
at a young age, every single day. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. When the way Major League Baseball runs now, this is why you see this happen so much. So I saw Guy La Sorsa saying that these guys aren't ready, or Augustine Ramirez is not ready. Well, you're wrong. Let me tell you why you're wrong, because I'm not talking about him to be a regular catcher. I'm talking about him to be a hitter, to hit the baseball, the DH. He's on the 40-man.
Yeah.
Here's why I can prove to you that he would be ready to come to the major leagues. The majority of players nowadays, they used to go to AAA. A lot of guys go straight to the major leagues from AA. The reason they do that is because the strongest talent that you see is in AA. So if a guy goes down there and they conquer AA, that's why Anthony Volpe didn't spend a ton of time at AAA. That's why Ben Rice hasn't spent a ton of time at AAA. Augustine Ramirez may be another guy who may not spend a ton of time at AAA. The reason they do that now is because they're already hitting elite pitching at a younger age, and the overall talent level is typically where your best prospects spend the most time. That is AA baseball. That's where the best talent is. Yeah. So if you got a guy like a Goose down there conquering that level, the Yankees are probably bringing him up to AAA because they want him to work with somebody there. Could be a catching coach that they have there. Something that they want him to keep improving his game in a certain area. But hitting would not be a concern when it comes to a guy like a Goose compared to a guy like J.D. Davis. Could it hurt him? Could it affect him if he came up here and struggled? Then they go, all right, man, let's send you back down. We've seen those stories. But at the end of the day, this is a guy that has to get up at some point. He's already on the 40-man. He's been on the 40-man for over a year. At some point, it's going to be very easy to get him up here.
And this, what we're talking about is not a completely foreign thing. Like, we're not making
not at
this,
all. A lot of teams are doing this.
Yeah, this is not just we're pulling something out of our asses here. Atlanta has been doing this. The Dodgers have given young players a shot. Tampa Bay does it every single year, I feel like, for the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Even you're seeing it now. St. Louis, you're seeing it's running.
It's everywhere. It's across baseball now.
The Mets right now.
Correct.
Look at who's driving. Look at who's driving this run that they're on. It's guys like Alvarez. What's the third? Vientos, the third baseman. Like they're being pushed and fueled by this youth movement.
Correct.
This is what we're saying. This is all we're asking for. We're not. It's not too much out of the realm of possibility.
Not at all.
And we're not putting all the. It's not like last year. Right, you remember last year?
Yeah.
We were begging the Yankees, call up the kids, call up Dominguez, because we wanted Dominguez to be up, because we thought maybe he could be like the carrier of the offense, because we didn't have it. This year, we're not asking a Goose to be the number one guy. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are on this team. We're not even asking him to be the number 3 or 4 guy.
Correct.
He's being asked to be a guy to probably bat somewhere in the middle to the bottom of the lineup.
100%, man. And that's exactly where I go back to just saying they don't always position themselves in the best way to win. It's like they will hold certain things off to just go to these scrap heaps that do not help at the end of the day. J.D. Davis got 1 hit in the blowout. That's the only hit J.D. Davis has. There's nothing really about J.D. Davis that goes, well, you're going to be on this team long. It's just not there. It doesn't exist. A guy like Neely, why is a guy like Neely not in the Yankees bullpen right now? What is it about Neely that dominated AA ball, has been very, very good in AAA already? A guy like Neely, who is a Rule 5 eligible player, meaning you have to protect them. Why is a guy with such high upside? Why is another guy like, what's his face? Yoendris Gomez, Yogo. He comes in a horrible situation against the Mets, and he's shipped back off in oblivion again. And who the hell knows when we're going to see him again? But this is a guy that if he goes 1 or 2 innings, I think he would be well. I think he'd be okay. But they don't utilize guys properly. And then they
Yeah.
keep going to Bickfords and whoever's released next. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I was gonna tell you that when we start getting into that, that's when it gets really confusing because I'm telling you, bro, I've sat here, I've mulled it over in my head. I don't get it. Like I'm sure that they have their reason, but I just can't figure it out. Like when I think about Jack Neely and I look at the way that this bullpen is struggling right now, granted, is it that Cashman's looking at the problem and saying this one pitcher, this one arm is really not going to help this situation. So maybe I'll put it off for a little bit later. Okay. But it's like, are you going to call him up? Like, will he be called up? He should be up, I think. Right. And
No
even
doubt.
when you call up Gomez, it's like you call him up, you send him back down. You call him up. He's a revolving door. I don't even know if they give the kid a locker because it's like you're not going to even be here past tomorrow. So it's like, what's the point?
Doesn't he deserve a long look though? Like, doesn't a guy like Gomez deserve a look where you don't have to utilize him for 3 or 4 innings? He could be like Dane said this recently. He's really good in the 1 to 2 inning role, like 2 innings max is what he should give you. You shouldn't be stretching his dude out for a long period of time. But you look at Neely, and I just want to read these numbers off to you. This is what he's done in AA and then AAA. I'll read them. I'll even read them separately. I do combined first and separately.
Okay.
35 and 1/3 innings, a 2.29 ERA, 56 strikeouts in 35 innings. 56 strikeouts in that many innings. The year prior, just a reminder, that was also in high A and AA. 66 innings, 100 strikeouts. This is who he is. He's 6'8", great 2-pitch pitcher, bullpen 1-inning guy. 4 and 1/3 innings so far in AAA, 5 Ks, has not given up a run. It's just very weird to me because if the Yankees are sitting there going, and Matt Blake actually said it, that he mentioned Neely, and he said at some point he'll probably be here. But my thing is, again, what is the some point? What isn't the some point a good time to be now? Is a good some point to maybe get somebody that could go with Weaver at least and go, hey, these guys could become a 6, 7, 8, 9. You got at least guys you could depend on. We got Tonkin, we got Weaver, we got Neely potentially, and Clay Holmes could close out, even though Clay Holmes ain't looking like too much like Mariano Rivera here recently, just so everybody's aware. But it just baffles me because I'm like, do we want to? Soto said the other night, every win's important. We got to win games. Whenever we get a win, it's good. It's good.
He said it's important. Yeah.
And why do we feel like, well, let's just take 3 weeks off and we lose ball for 3 weeks? Who cares?
I honestly, I think that's what I think when it comes to the front office, they're very, I don't want to say lackadaisical, but it's like they're really passive. They're really passive. Like they see us going through this really rough stretch. And I think Cashman is just like super passive in like his belief that, look, these tough times, this tough stretch, this isn't going to last. They're going to figure it out. They're going to whatever. But my question would be to him is what I get your feeling of that with the offense, because it's true. We've had a rough stretch, but so long as Soto and Judge and Volpe figures it out, Verdugo comes around, if Stanton gets healthy, like the lineup, okay, I could see you thinking the lineup will figure it out with a couple moves here or there. You add a bat or two and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
But what have you seen from the pen that makes you believe that they're going to figure it out of this? Because as of lately, this just looks like who these people are. And don't forget, half of them you picked up from the DFA bin. So
That's
it's
what
like,
I'm saying, man.
this may just be this might just be Tim Over the Hill. This might just be Phil Bickford, right? You got lucky with Tonkin, but let's be honest. When you signed Tonkin, there was nobody who thought that this was going to be what we got from him. It just, because of look how he looked.
Yeah.
For every Michael Tonkin, there's like 5 stories where it just blows up in the person's face.
Correct.
That can't be the blueprint.
Come on, we know that.
It can't be the blueprint. Yeah.
And look, what was our initial reaction to Michael Tonkin? We were all going batshit crazy because they decided to leave him in a game that he blew.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because Clay Holmes, I couldn't let him go this and that. These are things that we talk about. Michael Tonkin has gone on to, I'd say he surprised the shit out of me. That's a great find, but this does not happen all the damn time. This is not something that constantly happens. When guys get released, they get released for reasons. And, a team like the Yankees shouldn't always be dependent, is what I'm saying, on scrap heaps. They shouldn't be dependent, as Bernard just said, scrubs, They shouldn't be dependent on these type of players when they do have one of the better systems in baseball. And I'm not saying that everybody's going to be a difference maker in the minor leagues. I'm not saying that everybody's going to be a difference maker in AA and AAA, whatever the hell it may be. I'm just saying you really should consider going with the better talent than the scrubs and the scrap heaps. Sometimes that's the better thing to do. Go with the overall better talent. But this is kind of what we're stuck with right now at the Yankees, and you haven't seen too much of a difference being made by what they're doing right now.
No. But to throw a little optimism, on the end of it, right? You were saying this on Friday. It was June 28th. Today's June 29th. Today's June 29th.
Correct.
Maybe a month from now, we're sitting there together, maybe a couple brews in hand. I don't know, maybe 4Q coffee because we're trying to stay awake for 24 hours.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be great.
And maybe we're feeling completely opposite of the way we're feeling today because some of these guys got the call up. Some guys were, brought over from other teams and the bullpen's looking good again. And the rotation, gets a little break here or there. Because again, even when you look at the rotation, like there's a lot of fatigue there. I see it on Rodon. I definitely see it on Luis Hill.
Yep.
I saw it on Stroman yesterday. I saw it on Nestor today. I'm not saying, that we're going to be able to get everybody the rest, but, one spot start gives everybody an extra day, right?
Correct.
That extra day goes a long way in the dog days of summer. You never know. So, here's to hoping they figure it out in the next month.
That's another great thing to talk about because everybody is very, very interested in, what are the moves the Yankees are going to make. But one of the other things that I wanted to bring up when it comes to, and guys, by the way, we're not taking voicemails on this show today. I see Macho asking about it. Not today, Macho. We're not taking no voicemails on this one. But when it comes to the bullpen right now has been a mess, and where we are talking about other young guys potentially coming up and things of that nature. But when you look at Scott Efros is now in AAA. So Efros is guaranteed to probably be back in about a week and a half. You'll definitely see him in July. As long as everything is healthy and he goes well in AAA, you'll see Scott Efros back in July. And
he had a clean inning the other night.
He had a clean inning the other day. And you guys got to remember, this is a guy that the Yankees were really, really interested. Oh, Macho King saw him 24-hour live stream. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You don't got to really go wild about how long those are. We have enough time. We have enough time on the 24 hours. Leave a voicemail. Go ahead. Leave the voicemails. But yeah, man, we're good to go on that. But Scott Efros on his way back. The Yankees did say today that I got a report on JT Brubaker saying that he's throwing 95 miles an hour again. So that's really, really good.
Yeah.
And they're stretching him out to be a starter, but Aaron Boone also said there's also the multi-innings role that he can work on. So Brubaker's a guy. It's funny. I got tweets about him years ago because he's up the Yankees alley because he throws hard. He has a hard sinker. He throws a one-seam fastball, which is kind of strange.
It's very unique.
He throws a one-seam fastball. And could be a guy that could help. He could really fit into that Michael King role. So again, Yankee fans, trust me. I always say this, Francis, because one thing about NYU is we don't bullshit. You know what I mean? We're going to tell you what it is, whether fans like it, they don't like it. We're going to tell you the truth. I'm nowhere near there yet with saying that this Yankee team is done and that I'm done. I give up. No. But I tell you what, again, Jira just put it there. July 30th, we're live for 24 hours. That is trade deadline day. If that deadline passes and the Yankees haven't done much, and we look at where their club is, you might very well sit here and hear Pete Simonetti say, well, boys, I guess it might be a wild card exit. I know everybody wants to be excited and happy, but if they don't make changes, and again, I'm not saying, like Francis said, oh, you got to get Vladdy, and this guy's going to make the world. No. I've been very, very easy for what I've asked for. I'm asking for Rengifo, somebody at that bottom of the order that can make a difference, that can get on for the top of the order. I'm asking for maybe one pen arm, call the kids up. And maybe almost that's it. As long as the other guys are here and they're producing and other guys come back and are healthy. Other than that, I'm not asking for much. If they can't do that, at that point, I might have to put my hands up and go, guys, I don't see it this year. I don't see it.
Listen, we brought it up. We brought it up on All Rise this past Friday. But again, I think it's another name to throw out there. It may be a long shot. Maybe it's not as much of a long shot as we think. But if I'm Brian Cashman, I definitely put that call down to Tampa and see, what's up with Yandy Diaz. Like just to see my brother. He doesn't have
I'd be the happiest person in baseball.
He doesn't have as much control left as in years past. You know that they might not throw the bag at him. It's Tampa Bay. You know how they are. He's a great player, but hasn't had the best start to the season. It's been heating up as of late. But Tampa is always wheeling and dealing. I don't think they're gonna ask for Jones. I don't think they're gonna ask for Dominguez. I don't know. Like, just put in the call. See what's up. Like, it's gonna hurt probably somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't think that's one of those deals that it's like the conversation starts with Jones or Dominguez. I don't think they can. Yeah. I don't think they're in the position with that with Yandy, because if I'm correct, he has this year and next year, and that's it, right?
Yeah, I believe he has. Yeah, just next year, and that's it.
It would be a year and a half of Yandy Diaz. I don't think those conversations start with Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez. I think they start on the next tier, and that seems to be a tier that the Yankees are way more comfortable talking from. So I don't know, man. Put in the call. Just put in the call, man. Make it interesting on the 30th. We're going to be there 24 hours. All right.
Francis, you know what's another good thing too, right? He also plays third base.
And look at the numbers. He's not quite a serial killer, but he's a murderer.
Yeah.
He's a stone cold killer.
He definitely is a stone cold killer, no doubt about it. And let me tell you something. Real quick with Yandy Diaz. It's my guy. That's all I'm going to say. That's my guy.
Hit a deep right field.
Hit in the air. Carlos Rodon on the mound and stepping in is Yandy Diaz. You guys know I love Yandy Diaz. The pitch hit in the air to deep right field. Still one of the best moments.
Tampa Bay.
Just like that. 1-0 Tampa Bay. One of the best moments. But no, Yandy would be an amazing get for the Yankees. And look, at the end of the day, man, there's some things the Yankees are going to have to make their minds up on. A lot of teams aren't going to be out there looking to help the New York Yankees.
Thanks.
And some of the teams we bring up right via trade is in our division. So we're talking about Tampa Bay. We're talking about the Toronto Blue Jays on some of this stuff. It's like these teams aren't always going to want to help us. Now, if we overpay, they might be like, all right, cool. I keep going back to a significant potential deal, and I keep falling back to Ryan McMahon, who I've talked about for years on the New York Yankees.
True.
The reason I do so is, one, Colorado isn't just going to deal Ryan McMahon because we're struggling this year. They're not going to do that just to move on from Ryan McMahon. He has a great contract. I think he's getting 12 this year. I think he gets 16 million and then he gets 12 again. Like, it's a stupid contract. Thank you for the new subby. For his production. It's wild for that. But here's why I think it's possible. If the Yankees can convince the Rockies to add in maybe a reliever, I don't know who exactly. Maybe there's a starter there that it's Colorado. Maybe the road splits are a little better. Maybe there's something the Yankees see that could work a little better. I believe if I'm the Rockies and somebody says to me and goes, that kid Spencer Jones in Colorado could be something special for years to come. If the Yankees would consider that, I'd be happy to move him. And of course, it wouldn't just be Spencer Jones. There'd probably be 2 additional pieces, depending on what that is.
But he would headline it.
He would headline it. He would be the center. To me, if I'm the Rockies, and I'm not a biased fan, so I'm not one of those people that go, well, trade Gleyber Torres and this guy for one of the team's best players. No. I'm sitting there looking at, if I were the Colorado Rockies here, if I think to myself and go, Spencer Jones is cheap, and holy shit, he's fast, he's a powerful kid. You put him in this stadium, one, he's probably going to be loved here. Out the gate, fans are going to be wanting to see him. They got that very good young shortstop already. You're building a solid foundation of youth there already. If I can add that and then maybe add a Will Warren or another lower level starter and somebody else, I might be enticed to make that deal. But the Yankees may not. But you also got to come to a point where you got to sit there and go, is Soto really realistic for us? One, and do we believe Jason Dominguez is the better prospect? What do we think? If I get with my baseball people and they go, well, we didn't trade for Soto to not keep him. Like, I think that's obvious. I think we're going to work very hard to keep him here. And
six-player deals don't happen every day.
Correct. And who do you guys think is a better prospect between these two? Well, okay, if it comes out, we think Dominguez is. All right, you know what? Let's take the risk. Let's fucking take the risk.
You're bringing up a conversation that is paramount to the New York Yankees' success moving forward, even past this season. And I don't hear anybody talking about it yet. So shouts out to you, brother, because this is a big, big question in Yankees land. The Yankees, I would imagine, have already started these conversations, but it's one that needs to happen. Out of Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones,
who do you like more?
If you had to have one, who is he? What is his name? Because if you don't know the answer to that question, then you can't do the job that you need to on the trade market right now to protect you in 2024 and beyond. Because this trade deadline has implications not just on the 24 team, but on the team moving forward in general, right? If you do have an option to make a deal, like you're saying, I mean, Pete Dombrowski in full effect pretty much did Brian Cashman's job for him there. I don't know if y'all realized it, but I mean, when you put a deal together with Spencer Jones and Will Warren, I mean, that's the framework. That's the framework of a deal that it would take to get a McMahon back over here. That's the heavy lifting. Everything else would be like the ancillary parts that anybody can figure out. That just takes time. So you practically did their job for them on that. But again, how does that even get, off the ground if the Yankees haven't had that conversation with themselves internally? Who's our guy, Spencer Jones or Dominguez? Because we need to make that decision. And I think, Yankees fans, if you do see a deal like this come to fruition on this deadline, you can bet your bottom dollar, bet your ass, bet your mother's ass, your grandma's ass, even though that's my property.
That's his property. Take it
bet
easy.
it, because they will 1,000% retain Soto. If they make a move this trade deadline with Spencer Jones involved or Dominguez, if it's Dominguez, the guy that they send over and they want to keep Jones, if they make that move this deadline, they are making that move with the wholehearted belief that Juan Soto is a Yankee for the rest of his life.
Can I do something real quick?
Yes, sir.
Let's say it's Spencer Jones. I want to play a little fun game here. Volpe, Soto, Judge, McMahon, Stanton, Dominguez, potentially, Torres, Wells, and whatever the hell it is. But just think about that for a second. Even if it's not Dominguez, and Dominguez is hurt, God forbid, Verdugo becomes like your number 6, 7 hitter. I mean, if that is what they ended up, if they did do that, John Bertie is coming back. There's a lot of things here we got to remember.
That's a hell of a bench, too.
And that's a hell of a bench you now have. It's a hell of a bench. And Matra King says, I would trade Verdugo. Whatever it is, I'm just simply saying, what is that? Shortstop, right field, center field, left field will be open. Catching will be open. Volpe, Soto, Judge, McMahon, Stanton, Dominguez. Now you're also looking at something, and you look at it and you go, well, now you got speed at the bottom of the order. You got on-base percentage at the bottom of the order. You got power through the middle. And on top of that, with a guy like Ryan McMahon, the splits aren't nothing crazy. So it's not like he doesn't hit outside of Colorado. He's not one of those guys. The guy has a 349 on-base percentage, hitting 272. I mean, I'll throw this on the screen. Why am I just looking at it? That's something that you can add. And he's 29 years old. You're going to be getting him in his prime at a very, very efficient rate on what he produces at. He's not getting paid a lot of money. It makes a lot of sense. And I know the Yankees
He's cheaper than DJ LeMahieu. To put it into people's perspective,
correct.
He's cheaper than DJ LeMahieu.
And he's extremely good defensively. He's also a really good defender at third base. So at the end of the day, you're looking at somebody here and you're sitting at there looking at it and going, when do we take the risk? What is the risk? What is that risk? Spencer Jones, I get it. There's a lot of value there. He's starting to hit now. And you know why I'm bringing up Spencer Jones? It's the same reason I brought him up in the offseason. He's could have a chance to be really good, and I understand that. This is
lot of
not me
potential there.
saying I want to trade Jones because he's going to be terrible. No.
No,
I know he's going to probably
we
be
believe
good.
him to be good. Yeah.
We believe him to be good, but other players that are already major leaguers and established with good contracts and control, that's value. And you got to give value to get value.
I want to piggyback off that and tell people when we went to Somerset a couple weeks back, it feels like forever ago at this point. As me and Pete are
I miss
constantly,
you, man. I tell Fran,
brother.
like, bro, I miss you, man.
Listen,
like, come
man,
on,
I miss you too. I was just about to tell them, like, we constantly like off air, like, damn, bro, like once you move closer, man, it's just gonna be so different. But
miss you, Jordan.
bro, facts. Shout out Legacy, man. Them damn
Miss you,
quesadillas
fam.
and those drinks. Oh my
We
god.
back soon, though. We back
Yes.
soon.
Oh yes. Best believe they could put the order in now. We'll be there. It's coming. And the hookah, y'all already know.
I'll
This-
drive right now. I'll be
Listen.
over there right now. Don't play with me.
Listen, but a couple weeks ago we were at Somerset and we saw Spencer Jones live and in person. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of people who been around baseball, especially prospects, will tell you this. There's some players that you just look at, right, and you could just see the big leaguer on them. Like they could have a bad game that day, they could have a good. It doesn't matter, but you just look at them, the way that they move, the way that they carry themselves, the way that they look, and you just say, yeah, that's a big leaguer, and he looks different.
Yeah,
When
he
you look
does.
at that player, they look different from everybody on the field. There's only you go to a minor league game, right? I challenge a lot of you guys in the chat, our fans, if you have a chance, take advantage, go to minor league games because it's important, it's good, it helps you in your fandom actually to see. Because when you go to those games, you realize just how hard it is to do it at the major league level. Because when you go to a minor league game, you see that the field, both teams are fielding 9 guys and 9 guys. But out of those 18 guys, there's maybe 3 or 4 that look like major leaguers.
Yeah.
3 or 4. And the day that
Right.
we went to Somerset, Spencer Jones was one of those guys.
No doubt.
He just
got
looked,
I mean, he has everything too. He got
he looked like it.
there was I'll be honest with you. While I'm watching that game, there was 3 guys that truly caught my attention.
2 I know. I want to hear your third one.
The third one is Benjamin Cowles.
Got you. Okay.
Benjamin Cowles,
Yeah,
the guy
yeah.
that he looks like at some point, I don't know if he'll be a starter every day or what, but I think he'll be a major league player. Obviously, the other one is Goose and Spencer Jones. Goose and Jones have the look.
Yes.
I mean, they
yes.
look like major leaguers. You
Yeah,
look at
already,
those two, and you're like,
yes,
yeah, you're a
it's
major
true.
leaguer. I
There was
talk
that
about it all
kid
the time.
on
With,
the Yard Goats.
Yes. The kid from the Yard Goats looked good too. Damn, I forgot his name. I would
Me
love to give
too,
him
man.
credit. But I
Damn.
forgot. He's the one who homered off.
He homered off Cole
that
the
day.
first at bat.
Yeah, and then, I mean, he even when he flew out to deep right field against
Yeah.
Cole, he was like, "This at bat doesn't concern me at all. Like I'm
he
good."
was
I'm all right.
pesky at bat. That kid looked like a
Yeah.
major leaguer too.
But both
Yeah.
of those guys really look like major leaguers. Like when you look at it, even beyond the talent on the field, they got the look also. Like you could be these guys could be marketable players. They could be on a
Yes.
billboard in New York. You could
Yes.
see them there.
Yeah.
So they have all of that of what it would take to be a major leaguer, like the full package. So I understand why, the Yankees are sitting back going, I don't think we want to move these guys. But when you're the New York Yankees and, you got Soto over here, you gotta really put 2 and 2 together and figure out what's the move to make, what's the right thing to do. And as I think Scott Horwitz in the chat said, Colorado media is saying that they're not gonna move what's his name, McMahon. But let me just make you understand something here. AJ Preller said they weren't going to trade Soto.
I was just gonna say that. And
I
guess
mean,
what?
they were adamant about it. He'll be in the lineup next year. We're not going. Teams don't come out and just say, "Hey, it's June 29th. We are going to trade Ryan McMahon." Just so you're aware, they're not going to do that.
Why would they give away their hand? That would
Correct.
lose. That would
they
give
don't do
away their
that.
momentum. That would give away their leverage.
Appreciate
They
you, David.
should
Thank you,
say-
brother.
They should say that he's staying. It
course.
doesn't make any sense. And I I do want to say this also, right? I'm gonna ask you this
What I
just
do?
to show people, right? Like this. Say the Yankees go out, they make the deal. Spencer Jones is gone. They get Ryan McMahon. We make a run, right? And we don't win the World Series. We for something, whatever happens, right? Not injuries, not anything. We lose, right? We get beat. Are you angry with the front office though? Do you
No, I'm
blame
happy
the
with the front office.
No, right?
Mhm.
This is one of the things that the front office does, and it's not like fans. I mean, granted, there'll be some fans who will find something to point at, but most rational fans will just look at that and say, I mean, bro, they went all in. We just lost.
Yeah.
Let it
And
be.
that's us.
Yeah.
You know, that's us over here. You know,
Yeah.
we've been very adamant about that, yeah, we're going to come at the Yankees at certain times because we do want the best for them. And if they go out there and they said, hey, man, if I was Brian Cashman, I could even sit there at the end of the year if we did lose. And look, we traded the kid in Spencer Jones that we loved.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We traded a
Straight
kid
up.
like that because we wanted we really tried to win this year. We came
Yeah.
up short.
Exactly.
You know, we're going to get to work immediately for next season. We feel we have the core in place, and we think we're better now, too, with the addition that we made of Ryan McMahon or whatever it might be.
Oh,
We
yeah.
still feel we're there. But, again, I mean, I want the Yankees. If they lose, I want to feel like this team did everything in their power.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be-
That's all we want.
I say this shit to people all the time, man. I live and breathe the New York Yankees, as you guys can tell. I mean, this is what I do day in and day out, every single day. I'm talking to Yankees every single day of my life. I have a severe passion for this team, and they're
Facts.
a part of my everyday life.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. Again, that deadline day comes and the Yankees haven't significantly improved. It's gonna hurt me. It's gonna hurt me that my reactions are going to be one of pure honesty. And I'm going to sit there if they don't do these moves. And I'm going to say, look, man, I know how much we love them. I know how much people want to hear me be optimistic here. I don't believe in it. If they didn't do what they needed to do, Soto and Judge, they didn't get the protection they needed. I don't believe in it. I just don't. And I hope that's not the case. I hope I'm jumping up and down saying, guys, watch. Watch what's about to happen. We're going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
Watch.
I'm with you. 1000%. And I think it makes all the sense in the world. It's what I was trying to say before, man. I mean, the Yankees have a good deadline, bro, and hopefully we win this year. But even if they don't win this year, you go into that offseason, you go and you re-sign Soto, and you feel like you have a great chance to run it back and have a great run next year. Like, this is what it is. I mean, not to conflate the two things, but I mean, look at how it felt with the Knicks this season. For those of y'all that watch basketball, you get what I'm saying. The Knicks built something this year. They didn't win it all. They didn't even go to the conference finals, actually.
Yep.
But they built something that felt real, that felt good, like a real contender for the first time in a very long time. Now, in the offseason, they went and added a piece that people wanted. They re-signed a big contract that people wanted to stay. And now, what is everybody saying about the Knicks going into next season? They're expecting a hell of a lot more. Well, I think that the Yankees are in a very similar position right now.
Yeah.
And I think they have a very similar opportunity to not just set up everything for 2024, but to set everything up for at least the next 2 or 3 seasons to go all in and say, this is our window. Let's go for it. Because we don't know how long it's going to stay open, really, to be honest.
And look, a lot of the people that want to find a positive, or a lot of people out there that are searching for something they can hold on to, look no further than Soto and Judge. And when people go, but Pete, it's not the whole lineup. I always go, I know, but listen to me. They're doing something that hasn't really been done in modern baseball. This is how good they are. So my Pops, this is before the game today. This is the type of stuff that Pops does. He sent me this. He goes, half a season of Soto and Judge, 50 home runs, 139 RBIs, 132 runs scored. Yankees as a team have scored 426 runs. You hear that? Isn't that 426 runs? Almost a third of the team's runs have been scored by Judge and Soto. He said, unbelievable. My dad's he's a numbers guy. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And that's without today. Judge had his 80th RBI of the year. But the reason why I tell people is that that's a reason to be optimistic, is because you may not need your Ryan McMahons. You may just need a Luis Rengifo. You may just need a starter on another club that's having a 250 plus year with a 330, 335, 340 on base percentage, and he carries over the same level of production at the bottom of the order. Wells gets more playing time. Jason Dominguez is in the lineup at that point. John Bertie's back. Now you're looking around and you're going, shit's a little different.
Yeah.
Shit's a little different. And I'll tell you something else. I know some people may disagree with this because I don't know why. I watched the game today and I said, I wonder if that would happen. It wouldn't shock me to see the Yankees move some salary at the deadline. Try to a surprise move of a little bit of salary to move away somewhere else. I don't know what it will look like, but I was thinking about that today because you got to remember they have been saying a lot. Hal Steinbrenner also made the thing basically saying, we're not gonna to quote not to break down what he meant really is that a lot of the contracts coming due we're not gonna bring back. We got to fill them with youth, and that's how we're gonna kind of lower that cap. I'll get under that cap is by doing it that way. So they may try to get a little creative with moving a bit of salary, certain players you wouldn't expect. Maybe I know people are talking about pitching, but would Torres be moved in some sort of deal just to give away because there hasn't been that type of production? Would they dare to move a Nestor Cortez? I don't know, but a little bit of salary relief here and there could go a long way if you're trying to bring a couple of pieces in. So yeah, I do believe they got to be creative to a degree and take some risk.
For sure. Creativity is the key. Creativity is the key. Creativity makes or breaks deadlines. And I think, when we look at some of the past few that we've been upset with, it's been due to the lack of creativity. I think you've looked at the moves and the available, options, and you're like, damn, like this is all we came away with. Like, come on, Brian, you got to do better than that. But then there's the years where they even surprised us. Like, I think the year that we got Rizzo and Gallo and that deadline, I remember being pretty excited because I thought it was creative. I thought, Gallo was the move that everybody saw coming, but Rizzo wasn't a move that people saw happening. And, he came and he provided a spark immediately and it worked out. Now, obviously things are a lot different, but we need a deadline that is reminiscent of that, something creative, something, something a little bit, outside of the box. And like you said, maybe it doesn't have to be the biggest name out there, the biggest bat that's available. Maybe it's just some
what
guy
was the
out
Rizzo
there.
year? What was the Rizzo year? That was the year of 2021. That was with Gallo, right?
It was Rizzo and Gallo. Gallo was the one that everybody telegraphed. Everybody knew that was going to happen.
Rizzo and then the Rizzo one came out of nowhere. I remember because I was setting up for a live that day when the Rizzo deal happened.
Too. Yeah.
And I was like literally going live and it happened in the moment and I was able to switch and be like the first person live. We had like 1,000 people in there.
Yeah, I remember
years ago.
I remember
and I think we need something like that. Like I'm not talking about the player type.
It was right before a game. It was like an hour or something before a game.
What I'm talking about in that regard is one of the moves that make you go like, oh shit, like you're texting people quick, yo, you see what they just did?
Yo, we got Rizzo. Like I remember
That's
the
what
group
we
chat.
need.
I
We
think
need
it was, I remember
something like
texting
that.
with you and Joe, Killer Joe, who was in the chat a little while ago. I remember I was texting with both of y'all, and it was like, yo, they fucking got Anthony Rizzo, bro. Like what? Yep. Yeah, and you were live. Yep. You was like, I'm going live right now. You were already ready, and I think it was because the game was like not too long after.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like just be creative because you make your Pop Simonetti brings up something that's a really good point. When you have a team, that has Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, guys, the hardest part of your team to build is the part that features Aaron Judge and Juan Soto.
Bingo.
That is the hardest part of the team to build.
Bingo.
Why? Because Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are few and far between. You don't get a chance to get a guy like that every year. There's not even a guy like that available every 2 or 3 years. Right. That's why it's such a big deal when it happens. That's why Ohtani's free agency last year was what it was. That's why Juan Soto's free agency has been a topic of conversation for the last 4 seasons. That's why Aaron Judge's free agency was what it was, because it's so uncommon that a talent like that comes around. The Yankees have them both already on the roster right now.
That's right.
The easiest part is the supporting cast, believe it or not. It's hard to find a guy who's going to hit over 300 and have 30 home runs in June. It's hard to have a guy who's going to have 20 home runs hitting over 300 with 1,000 OPS in June. The Yankees have that already.
Yep.
But how many guys are out there right now hitting over 250 with a 380 on base percentage who play decent defense that can slot in at a corner infield spot or bat DH or whatever? How many of those guys are out there? I mean, do a search on Fangraphs or Baseball Reference, whatever you want. You're going to find a shit ton of guys. A shit ton. So
that's right. And
we're not
again,
asking for much.
No, we're not, because we're not in one of those years where we're looking for a superstar.
Exactly.
We're not looking for Aaron Judge's sidekick anymore.
We're not looking for the vice president. Yeah.
Exactly. We're not looking for the vice president no more, man. We already have that. Juan Soto is that. Aaron Judge is right now fighting for potentially a triple crown. I mean, he's been that
crazy,
friggin'
bro.
good. That's how good Aaron Judge has been. And, you know, him and Soto and him together is a match made in heaven. It's an unbelievable thing. Of what we're seeing so far, and as Francis said, it's the supporting cast, which is much easier to get than the big two that we have. And again, folks, I'll just say things look ugly right now. It really does. But as Francis said earlier, and I think he is so friggin' spot on this. You know, this is probably going to be the worst of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is probably going to be the worst that this club is as of right now. And you know, I keep going back to. Instead of just outside the organization, what is still inside the organization? You have Jason Dominguez, you don't expect is going to be out for the year. That's not the expectation right now. We don't know the future, but we do believe at some point we should see him. I talked about the relievers already that are rehabbing. I talked about the relievers that are in the system. I talked about the other players that are in the system already. Whatever we get outside is additional to that because the other stuff's already our property and we bring them up. They're our assets already. We bring those guys up. I don't think this club is going to continue to be who this club is when things are back and in place the right way. The pieces are back. The pieces are inserted. Better pieces are here.
Yeah.
I just don't. I believe we are seeing the worst of the Yankees right now.
I agree with you.
That's it.
I agree with you. I think this is the low. This is kind of like, I don't want to use the phrase rock bottom because I feel like in the last couple of years, every time I said that, it did find a way to get worse. So I'm not gonna,
right.
I'm not gonna say that. But yeah, bro, I really wholeheartedly believe that quote that I stole from Coach Prime. I think teams better, you know, enjoy this now, right? Get us now, have your fun now, make your jokes now, post your memes now, do your little dance videos and all that shit. Do that now, because I really truly believe that we are a couple moves away, a couple, you know, guys figuring certain things out, maybe getting a little bit rest here or there. Who knows what it is? But I feel like it's not that far away from us being back to what we were at the beginning of the year. And guess what?
Right.
This time that we're going through these last couple of weeks, nobody's going to want to hear this. I even hate saying it myself, but if we do figure it out, you're going to be really freaking happy that it happened in June and not in September.
Oh, bingo, no doubt.
You're going to be thanking your lucky stars or whatever, you know, whatever it is that you believe in, that it happened in June and not in October. Because I know right now, for me, this is hurting me to watch these games today. It was, man, I credit to you, Pete.
Today's game was hard
I don't
to
know.
call. It was
I don't
hard
know
to call.
how you're surviving through these games after game after game, because it's hard. I mean, you're looking at a team that just, it doesn't even seem like reminiscent of the team that we were looking at, you know, a couple weeks ago. But again, I look at it and I'm just like, okay, get this shit out of the way now. Just get this shit out of the way now. And when you close the door on this chapter of the season, don't reopen this shit again.
Facts. Correct. Correct. It's truth. It's why, you know, this shit could happen, guys, after the trade deadline. This shit could happen when you can't make certain moves and certain trades. And I'm sorry we got to close the show up on this, but as of right now, it is the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Baltimore Orioles are beating the Texas Rangers 5-4. So the Orioles looking to actually get a game ahead of the New York Yankees. I believe it would be if the Yankees already lost. If they hold on to that lead, it's kind of been back and forth so far, but it is 5-4 Baltimore right now in the bottom of the 7th inning. But that's all I got for you guys today, man. Look, the next month here at NYYU is going to be extremely busy. I mean, July is always a crazy month for us. There'll be videos galore. There'll be extra live chats. There's going to be all that. When there's a rumor, we discuss it as part of what we do. If we hear something, we'll put that stuff out there. But we are very, very busy in the month of July. And again, July 30th, you guys already know, is the 24-hour live stream. That's going to be an amazing event. I can't wait. I'm also even considering some things that we're going to do to help out NYYU a little bit. Maybe some challenges that you guys could choose that we can do live while we're there. So I'm not giving up putting anything out yet, But I'll get with the team and ask them to make sure everybody's, kind of on the same page, but we'll figure some fun things out. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to leave it up to Francis to go ahead and check us out of here.
Oh, man, listen. Team might not be performing, but NYYU always does. We always show up. We always show out. We always come through, and we do that because we the U, baby. Who but the U?
The U.
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the fans. I saw the numbers in game season today. Even when the games aren't good, you guys still show up. So at the end of the day, keep doing what y'all do. This is the best community in freaking baseball. We love you guys. I know Pete loves you guys. I know we all appreciate what you guys do. So keep it locked and stay tuned, man. Get your tickets for September 14th. Don't miss anything.
Facts.
And remember, the next episode will in fact be the best episode.
No doubt about it. And as you guys already know, we will never come whack on a designated Spittaz track. I'm about to put my feet up and watch some grown men punch each other in the face on the UFC, okay? Because that's what makes me happy in life. That's why I said I'd run in the ring and just get KO'd. Why not? But anyway, we out, guys. Talk to you next time. Peace, baby. We out of here.
Can't make a promise, but I do my best. 25 sitting on 25 racks. Just got started, no, we ain't done yet. Bought a new crib, that's a goddamn flex. Sign that check. Told them last year that I been up next. Can't take calls, but I send that text. From way downtown.